Broadcasting live from somewhere in the Shadow Realm, this is YuGiOh Duel Links Talk. Here's your host, Doug Dimmaduel.
Hey there, welcome to another episode of YuGiOh Duel Links Talk. If you're listening to today's episode, you may notice that YuGiOh Duel Links and YuGiOh Duel Links Talk and YuGiOh Deck Talk are on a bit of a hiatus. We're going to have some sporadic episodes over the next week or two. We're kind of shying away from the daily episode, and it's because we're currently in preparation for Hurricane Irma, which is set to hit Florida within the next few days. So there's going to be a lot of prep work here. A lot of the folks in this town here are without, it seems like a lot of the shops around here are without water, without food, certain things. There's kind of been a bum rush on the shop. So in the meantime, we're going to be preparing for the hurricane, but that doesn't mean we can't play a little bit of Duel Links on the side while we're waiting in line at the store, while we're just kind of on standby, waiting to see where this hurricane ends up. But yeah, this is just something that we're looking into here. So today, I want to go through a deck that is pretty cool, and this is one that, of course, you're able to unlock through getting YuGiModo out of the recent event. And the skill is Grandpa's Cards, and this is the one where you start with all 5 Exodia pieces in your deck to start the duel. So basically what you want to run is a 20 card deck, then you get +5, so you're going to end up with a 25 card deck. So the way that this one is set up is just to really start running through your deck and just start burning through it. So it's just a really nice setup. And I think I got most of the pieces here. There are a few that I'm missing, and of course it's going to be one of the first cards here, which is Gozuki. This is a level 4 zombie, 1700 attack, 800 defense. During your main phase, you can send 1 zombie-type monster from your deck to the graveyard. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can banish 1 zombie-type monster from your graveyard except Gozuki and special summon 1 zombie-type monster from your hand. You can only use each effective Gozuki once per turn. So you're going to pair that up really nicely with Red Eye Zombie Dragon, which is level 7 zombie, 2400 attack, 2000 defense. You can tribute summon this card in face-up attack position by tributing 1 zombie-type monster. When this card destroys a zombie-type monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can special summon that monster to your side of the field. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to pair up your Red Eyes Zombie Dragon with this card, Cards of the Red Stone. It's the rare spell card where you send 1 level 7 Red Eyes monster from your hand to the graveyard and draw 2 cards. Then you can send 1 level 7 Red Eyes monster from your deck to the graveyard. You can only activate 1 Cards of the Red Stone per turn. So you want to end up pairing this up if you end up with a Red Eye Zombie Dragon in your hand. So pretty good setup overall. And then you got the next combo play here. On top of the Red Eyes Zombie Dragon, you're going to run 3 copies of your Red Eyes Black Dragon. Level 7, 2400 attack, 2000 defense dragon, which is why you're going to end up running 3 copies of Cards of the Red Stone. So at some point, more often than not, you should end up with a level 7 Red Eyes monster in your hand to utilize Cards of the Red Stone. And then in the process, you're also able to, again, send 1 level 7 Red Eyes monster from your deck to the graveyard to further thin it out. So you're basically going -3. You're going to draw 2 cards. You're going to end up also sending 1 card from your deck to the graveyard, so you're really thinning out your deck and leaving the Exodia pieces. Then what you're going to end up doing is pairing up with the following cards. The first one is Magical Mallet. You shuffle any number of cards from your hand into the deck, then draw that same number of cards. So if you're trying to get a combo play going on here and you just don't have what you need, Magical Mallet is a good way. You run one of those in this deck. But then you have 3 copies of Blue Dragon Summoner. This is one that you obtain from the card trader. It's a level 4 spellcaster, 1500 attack, 600 defense. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 dragon, warrior, or spellcaster normal monster from your deck to your hand. Now, what's a spellcaster normal monster? That is all of the pieces of Exodia minus the actual Exodia head, which is an effect monster. But any of the other 4 pieces, you're able to search out with this card once it gets sent from the field to the graveyard. What's the quickest way to send it from the field to the graveyard? I'm so glad you asked, and that is through Wonder Wand. It is an equipped spell card where you equip only to a spellcaster type monster. It gains 500 attack, and if you control the equipped monster and this card, you can send both to the graveyard to draw 2 cards. So what you do is you get +2 from drawing 2 cards, while also being able to search out one of the arms or legs of Exodia the Forbidden One, just based off of that combo play. So it is just all around real easy to kind of get things going and keep on getting more draw power while being able to search at the same time. So it's still just a really, really good play that you can use using the Blue Dragon Summoner, comboing out with Wonder Wand. And would you believe it, Wonder Wand is also obtainable through the card trader. So basically, a good chunk of this deck is obtainable through the card trader. Same thing with Red Eyes Black Dragon. You're able to get that. That's an ultra rare that you could get from the card trader, so it's something to keep an eye out on. Next, we got 3 copies of Good Goblin Housekeeping. It's a trap card where you draw cards equal to the number of Good Goblin Housekeeping cards in your graveyard plus 1, then select 1 card from your hand and return it to the bottom of your deck. So the nice part is that this compounds, and you're able to get more draw power the more copies of this card that you use. So this is a must-have 3 copies of in this deck, just to just to keep kind of going. And end up putting cards that you don't necessarily want back to the bottom of the deck. So, and then on top of that, you round things out with 2 copies of Jar of Greed, where you just draw 1 card. And again, it's just a way to start moving through your deck faster. Now, I've seen other versions of this deck run with Shards of Greed, the one where you got to wait 2 turns, basically, to add the 2 counters onto the spell card, and then you draw 2 cards that way. That's another option. But again, you can see how the Red Eyes plus the cards of the Red Stone and also the Blue Dragon Summoner comboed out with the Wonder Wand are both just amazing ways to get draw power quickly in a 25 card deck, because that's what you're going to be starting with when you have the 5 additional Exodia pieces. So at the end of the game, you want to have all 5 pieces of Exodia in your hand, and boom, you win the game. I've been on the receiving end of a few of these, and it wasn't fun for me playing on the other side, but I'm sure it was unbelievably fun for the player who got the Exodia combo out, and it's just real satisfying. But anyway, yeah, that's kind of it for this deck setup. This was a pretty short episode, just a pretty neat, straightforward strategy, and just seeing how through the use of this effect you're able to try and get as much draw power as possible as quickly as possible. I noticed that this card does very well too against the Taya Mill deck, only when they're allowing you to draw cards through Cup of Ace or whatever. But the second that they use the Warm Worm and end up sending cards directly to your graveyard, if one of the Exodia pieces falls in there, then you're kind of you're kind of screwed at that point. So it's kind of hit or miss. So, but anyway, yeah, there's just a lot of good fun that you could have with this deck. I've seen this one floating around a lot in the gold rank duels. So, yeah, it's fun to see. But also, I haven't really seen any of them when I got to platinum so far, and that's just the current setup. Now, it's not to say that as people move up, you're going to see more of these start appearing in platinum. But as for right now, I haven't run into a single one, and I played quite a few duels within platinum. But yeah, gold rank definitely saw a lot of these types of decks, and it's just really, really cool. But anyway, yeah, that's kind of it for today's deck build. If you have a version of the Grandpa's Cards Exodia deck build that you like using, I'd like to hear about it. Feel free to reach out to me on Twitter at YuGiOh Deck Talk. It's all one word, at YuGiOh Deck Talk, and I'd love to hear about it. Also, too, just keep in mind I may be kind of hit or miss depending on communication in Florida, given Hurricane Irma as it comes to hit. But hopefully we'll be able to get, an episode here or there over the next week as we're hunkering down and dealing with the storm. I know there's a few of you guys out there who are also in Florida. Shout out to MJM. Yeah, I know you're down there in Miami somewhere, so sit tight, and hopefully you're either evacuating or getting somewhere safe or hunkering down, and yeah, just be careful. So any of you folks who are in Florida who are listening, stay safe. Same thing for Georgia, South Carolina. All you guys out there, stay safe during the storm. It's nothing to sneeze at. It's a pretty powerful one right now. But yeah, if you have some downtime and everything is working with your Wi-Fi or your connectivity with your phone data, there's no better time to keep playing Duel Links. So anyway, have at it. That's it for today's episode. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time, hopefully real soon. Take care.